All right, I'm going to get started and recognize that people may trickle in. I'm back up here, Sarah Menassian from the Methane Challenge and Natural Gas Star Voluntary Partnership Programs at the US EPA. Very excited to have a few minutes to chat with you today about some RNG resources that our voluntary partnership programs have. So that's the perspective of this talk, the Methane Voluntary Partnership Program RNG resources. I will give you guys a quick overview of the programs that we have that have RNG interest, and then I'll point out some of our biogas programs, resources that may also be of use and interest to natural gas companies. And then we'll also give a quick update on some events that we have coming up and some program news. All right, so before I start, I'm going to be using two terms in this presentation, and they have two distinct meanings, and this will become important when I talk about the maps. So I wanted to introduce the terms I'm going to use. The first is biogas, which is broadly referring to the raw gas that you get from decomposing organic matter anaerobically. And this has a methane content between 45 and 65%. When I speak of renewable natural gas, that is the biogas that has been upgraded to pipeline standards and can be used in place of fossil natural gas. And I will note that these are not official EPA definitions. Rather, they are descriptions that our 4 voluntary programs have put together for clarity in events like this when we talk, and then for consistency across our programs when we speak about these things. All right, so we've got 4 voluntary methane partnership programs in our little area of EPA. We've got the AgStar program, which focuses on the agriculture sector, the LMOP, or Landfill Methane Outreach Program, which focuses on landfills, and the Natural Gas Star and Methane Challenge, which focus on the oil and gas industries. And these 4 programs have been working together because across our programs, we've got stakeholders with some sort of interest in RNG, be it folks that are generating RNG, the project developers that are upgrading the biogas, the people that are generating biogas, and then the developers that are upgrading the biogas to RNG, and then the companies that are transporting that gas in their pipelines. And we have a number of resources that may be of use to you all, even though you're not necessarily biogas focused people, including our events, webinars, and program networks. So the first I'll talk about is AgStar, and this is a program that helps farm owners develop anaerobic digesters for their livestock waste. They've got a number of technical resources that are particularly helpful to people developing these projects, including guidelines, permitting info, and a project handbook and operator's guidebook. They also have a database of anaerobic digester projects, and they have webinars and events to share success stories. The second program, so I'm covering the biogas ones first. The second one is the landfill program, which is, again, LMOP. You may have heard some speakers talk about that before. And this program has a number of project development tools and technical resources for landfills and landfill gas energy project development. They have a database of landfill and landfill gas energy projects. They've got a network of over 1,000 partners, and they host a number of webinars and other events to share information and success stories. And in fact, I wanted to highlight that LMOP and GasStar did a webinar together last year where we had a project that was done by an LMOP partner who injected gas into a Methane Challenge partner's pipeline. So it's kind of a neat thing. You can see the recording of that webinar on our website if you're interested. And finally, hopefully you're all familiar with our oil and natural gas voluntary programs, the Gas Star and Methane Challenge programs. And these programs are focused on helping oil and gas companies adopt cost-effective practices and technologies to reduce methane. Key components of our program are technology transfer and information sharing. And because RNG has obviously become such a topic of interest to the stakeholders, we are working on incorporating that more and more into our events. So the resources I'm going to focus on today are the RNG project maps. And as our biogas programs, they work with partners in the biogas sectors. they're able to collect data on projects that are happening through information submitted by their partners and also through networking and research. And so one place I'll point you to start is our RNG website. And this is a resource that is again created by our 4 voluntary programs. It's not the official EPA RNG website per se, but again, it's meant to be a resource, especially to the stakeholders that I just spoke about. And this is currently hosted on the Landfill Methane Outreach Programs website, but all 4 of our programs are contributing to this. And again, I think that the maps may be of particular interest to folks here, so I will show you a couple of these. The first map is the RNG project map, and this is where the distinction between biogas and RNG will come into play. On that RNG website, you'll see a map that has RNG projects on it. So these are the projects where biogas is being upgraded to pipeline quality and is considered RNG. This map has both the landfill and ag digester projects that we know about in one place. And I'll point out here, this map and the other ones, you'll see they're all interactive. These are screenshots, but if you go on the website, you can zoom in, zoom out, and if you click on points, you can get information about the projects, where they are, who was involved, and some of the programs even have more detailed information about the amount of gas that's generated and so forth. And I did want to give a shout out that this map in particular came about for many reasons, but one of the key motivators we had was interest from some gas companies we'd been talking to about finding this information in one place. So that kind of helped motivate us to create this map from these maps. So these are the biogas project maps, and AgStar and LMOP have their own maps, and they're on their respective websites. And you will be able to download these slides later and get those URLs if you're interested. And again, these are interactive maps, so hopefully you'll find that kind of neat and potentially useful. One reason I thought, or a couple of reasons we wanted to show these to you, is that it could be a resource if companies are looking for RNG to add to their supply, are interested in developing a project, or simply want to reach out to an expert, folks that have already been involved in a project and might be able to talk with them about technical details on something they're working on. And then I also point out that LMOP tracks candidate landfills. So these are landfills that don't currently have a project but could have a project in the future. And again, that could be an interesting resource for folks. And as of July, that was the last time LMOP updated their database, there was about 475 of those. So do take a look if you have a chance. So in addition to those maps, and there's also associated spreadsheets of data with them, we also can work together in the RNG space through events and networking, such as this one. We also host a number of webinars. These are always free to attend, and we always try to record them and post them online afterwards if you can attend. So we're developing a sort of library of resources in that way too. The programs have listserv messages, which is one great way to find out about webinars and workshops like this and other information. And you can sign up for all programs listservs on their websites, and I'll show those again at the end. And finally, if you are involved in project development and are looking for technical information to facilitate project development, the biogas programs can help with that on the landfill and agriculture side. All right, and finally, slightly less RNG related, but just a few updates on the programs since you're all here. Our Global Methane Initiative, that's another group that we work with in our methane programs at EPA. They're having their biogas subcommittee meeting at the end of October in Madison, and that event is open to the public and free to attend. And that is going to be coinciding with BioCycle's 2019 event. That is a separate event with its own registration, but we did want to point out that's happening at the same time, and there will be some participation from the AgStar program at that event. And we've also got our big GasStar Methane Challenge Workshop coming up in November. If you are on the GasStar web listserv, you've likely seen some messages about this, and there's a lot more information on our website. And I wanted to point out that we were going to have an optional site tour on the first day. There's 2 options. One is going to see a gas production site, and then the other one is for a landfill gas processing plant. So there's actually an RNG site visit, and you'll be able to speak with the project developers, the folks that operate the landfill and the natural gas company that is getting the gas injected into its pipeline at that. And then there will also be an RNG session on the second day of the event. And what talk from me would be complete without an update on methane challenge reporting? I know there's some methane challenge implementation managers out there, so I just wanted to let everyone know / remind those folks that BMP reports are due on October 4th. And since they're reporting for the first time this year, we've asked one future partners to submit their reports by November 1st. And that is all I've got. I have a minute for questions, but obviously I'll be around for the rest of the afternoon and happy to chat with you. Or you can email me, or you can contact us on our websites. All right, well, thank you very much. Hopefully that was helpful to you. And again, this will be online, so if you want to look at those websites, you have the links there, and you can also ask Vanessa or I, or email the programs on their websites.